It is Championship Sunday in New England as we welcome you to coverage of the NCAA Division II Field Hockey Championship on NCAA.com. Will defending champions East Stroudsburg lift another title and continue the foundation of a dynasty, or will Kutztown finally cross the threshold and bring home its first national championship? Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Grapponi Stadium on the campus of St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm Ben Alcher, and joining me for today's national final, UMass Lowell head coach and two-time Division II national champion, Shannon LeBlanc. Coach, you look at the bracket there, East Stroudsburg and Kutztown both advancing via semifinal wins on Friday, and this matchup, ESU has the benefit of experience on its side, but Kutztown clearly playing with a ton of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better matchup, Ben, with the experience in defending national champion East Stroudsburg in this game and having Kutztown in for the first time since 1997. It's the makings of a great, great championship. I know Kutztown is not just happy to be here. They're looking for a win. They're looking to hoist, their first national championship, and we're also hoping that East Stroudsburg is able, in their thinking, they want to defend theirs. It's going to be an awesome, awesome day.
A couple key players to watch for in today's national final. We'll start with the Golden Bears of Kutztown. Mackenzie Kyle scored on a penalty stroke with 2 minutes left in regulation in Friday's semifinal. Easily the biggest goal of her career.
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming in with graduate experience, she's been in some big games before, so for her to step up with the final 2 minutes and put that away for them, that had to be the most amazing feeling.
And on the other side, for East Stroudsburg, a number of different players you could highlight for the Warriors, but Leah Parker had 2 assists in the semifinal win over Assumption on Friday, and we know on the set pieces, especially the penalty corners, she plays a pivotal role.
Yeah, of course. Leah is just that graduate student, again, a lot of experience, really wants to take control at the top of those corners, and made some things happen in that first game to get them here today.
Underway in our national championship game between number 1 overall seed East Stroudsburg in the black and the Kutztown Golden Bears wearing the white. Aerial knockdown out of midair as the Warriors try to get control through the midfield here. Coach, you've been in some of these national championship games before, came away with 2 national titles with UMass Lowell, so what are the players feeling? What are you feeling as a coach on the sidelines in these situations?
Ben, I feel a little stressed right now, and I don't think it was about the commentating. I feel like I've been on that sideline with Marcy, being in that underdog role. I've been Sandy when you're trying to defend a national championship, and watching these young women, start the game for what could be, one of the best memories of their life or their most heartbreaking. It just brings back all the nerves.
Restart brought back here. J.D. Van Gils, another one to watch for East Stroudsburg. That one rifled high in a hand of apology from Van Gils, as that one almost headhunting a little bit there in the direction of Grace Harold.
Yeah, we always talk about these first few minutes or just getting out the nerves, feeling each other out, moving the ball, getting used to the surface, and just really gaining some confidence early on is so important.
Talked about the different situation that these two programs are in. East Stroudsburg, obviously the defending national champions, winning in Washington a year ago. It was their second ever national championship, but trying to do it back-to-back would be the first program to do it since Shippensburg won 3 straight between 2016 and 2018. So they have been looked at as the dominant force, not just from last year, but really all season long through the regular season and into the postseason. Meanwhile, Kutztown, obviously coming off a great year a year ago, missed out on the national tournament, but in some ways they're playing that underdog card all the way through this national tournament.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about having pressure on you, and certainly East Stroudsburg seems to love that pressure, so there's no doubt they'll use it to their advantage. And Kutztown, being that underdog, is going to embrace that role as well.
Going to be an early corner chance here for East Stroudsburg as Van Gils forced the issue to the end line. First set-piece opportunity. East Stroudsburg, 275 penalty corners on the year.
Wow. That is a lot of penalty corners, Ben.
Well, they've had a lot of practice in this
yes,
situation. Grace Lesh going over to insert. She had the first of 3 goals in the semifinal. It came off of a corner against Assumption, but that was the only set-piece goal that East Stroudsburg had, despite getting 14 corners in that semifinal. Big stack formation at the top. It comes out to Parker. She'll take the shot, and she scores! Leah Parker with a dart to the back, and the Warriors have an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that's just a fantastic first corner call. You just want to get that ball out fast and get a shot on goal and see what happens. Leah puts that perfectly placed, a perfect height. Really hard to make that save when it's going at the backboard height.
Kepler had a quick look at the official. She was kind of off her line a couple steps. I don't know that she got a great look at that shot.
Yeah, I think anything that's coming at knee height is really, really hard to see. Maybe sometimes make that assumption it's going to be a little bit high and maybe coming out, but that was perfectly placed at a perfect height.
So what a start for East Stroudsburg. I was just going to say, you know, these first few minutes of this first quarter obviously critical. So now this obviously changes the calculus for both teams, right? When you're East Stroudsburg, you're up a goal, you get that confidence flowing, and if you're Kutztown, how do you try to not maybe panic a little bit or not force the issue when you have so much time left in the game?
Right. I feel like Kutztown, though, has been in these games before. You know, a goal early can feel a little bit deflating, but you have a long game ahead of you to make sure that you take care of business and put one in the back of the cage. So I'm sure they're settling in. They've got a lot of confidence. They've been here before, and I'm confident they'll stay bought in.
Van Gils from Steele at midfield got it all the way into the circle, but committed the infraction crossing the line there.
Yeah, it looks like she was shielding the ball a little bit, and you'll see that call today. You have Shannon Taylor and Chris Pothier on the game, very seasoned officials, and really know the details of the game. So you can't shield the ball coming into the circle and anywhere on the field for that matter, so Shannon's going to call that tight.
Jillian Bookman tried to lay it out wide for Erin Gonzalez, just a little too far in front. You talk about Kutztown and the resilience. Well, the Golden Bears put that on display Friday in the second of the two semifinals. They took two penalties that ran concurrently, so they were down two bodies in the first quarter, gave up a goal to Shippensburg, but were able to answer back with a penalty corner goal at the end of the first quarter. And from that point on, it felt like, you know, it turned into a back-and-forth game, but Kutztown, once they got that tying goal late in the first quarter, got more comfortable playing against the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that's a great term to describe Kutztown, resilient. They were playing with two players down. They give up that goal, and they didn't stop fighting. So they knew that they had a long game ahead and made sure that they took took advantage of their opportunities, and that's what they did to get here today.
Ariel ends up getting knocked out toward the sideline, controlled here by Charlotte Simon. Talk about the goaltending matchup. Mia Kepler, the senior for Kutztown, letting one through. Just the 11th goal allowed by the Golden Bears this season. Kepler, as a first-year starter in her final season, has been just outstanding. Best in the NCAA this year in goals against average, giving up just a half a goal per game.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a senior goalkeeper, regardless if this is her first season, really taking the starting role, she's had a tremendous amount of training and practice through her 4 years. So there's certainly some experience regardless of how many games she's played before, but she has shown this season she belongs there and is doing a fantastic job.
Played a critical role in Friday's semifinal win, 7 saves against Shippensburg. That was the most she's had in a game this season and in her career. On the other side for East Stroudsburg, well, Amy Soupy is one of the best in Division II. Third in the country in goals against average at .81. And Soupy came up with a couple big saves as well for East Stroudsburg, including a critical penalty stroke stop in the second quarter against Assumption on Friday.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job of tracking that ball and not letting that stroke go in and change the momentum of that first quarter. But, another player that's first time in a national championship game, I believe, but you would never know it. Their experience is shining through as seniors on the field, and truly, she has led her team to this game.
This one lifted high down the line. Lesh over to meet it. Picked up the assist on the goal by Parker, so it's been a terrific tournament for the senior back. Grace Lesh scored the opener on Friday, picks up an assist on Parker's goal. Parker right now might be the lead in the running for tournament most outstanding player. 2 assists on Friday and the opener goal today.
Yeah, she's certainly saving her best weekend for last. She's had a tremendous career in games, but you want to play your best during your final weekend, and she's certainly showing that.
Restart for Kutztown just on the offensive side of midfield. Trainer plays it back for Shea Bennett, who plays an impactful role off the bench for Marcy Schuing's team. Coach Schuing could not have been more excited after Friday's win over Shippensburg. Talked about how last time she was here with this program, 2019, they were sort of just excited to be part of the Final Four and just kind of happy to be there. Ended up making their exit in that national semifinal. And this the program's first national championship game since 1997. Juliana Donato stepping through the first defender, bouncing ball in toward the circle. And the whistle comes from just outside. Donato was all over the place on Friday, and you'll see her possess the ball a ton today for Kutztown.
Yeah, Juliana is an excellent player. She's got great hands, great vision, a tremendous amount of craftiness, and we saw her really excel in the midfield on Friday and created a tremendous amount of opportunities for her teammates.
Warriors able to take it away from her there. They had three defenders all kind of shadowing her in layers that time.
Yeah, they know who they have to shut down, and that's someone you want to have a double team on at all times because she can get out of traffic pretty easily.
Kyle with a procedural foul just to slow the counterattack here from East Stroudsburg. This is the second meeting between these two teams this year. Played in the regular season in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. It was an overtime victory for East Stroudsburg, 2-1. This is turnover in the midfield, leads it to Jordan Stroup. Broken up from behind, wanted a foul, didn't get it. Bennett, though, takes away the long hit, tries to dribble it through, takes a bump from behind from Minka Klein, who had 2 goals of the 3 that East Stroudsburg scored in its national semifinal victory.
Yeah, you'll see both teams, using this pass out of the backfield to shift over the other team. You're trying to look for open lanes. So you've seen East Stroudsburg work the ball through their defenders. You see Kutztown doing the same thing. And then these great opportunities result when you find that open lane.
Nice touch there by Doyle. Curls her way into the circle, throws it toward the front, kicked away by Soupy. High ball settled and controlled out to the side by Maddie Barbush. No panic from the veteran center back for East Stroudsburg. That one played through a trio of Bears. And the breakout on the other side, Stelma, just a little bit of a heavy touch there. And stepping up to win it, Danielle Panatti gives it right back, though. Here comes Nicole Crozier, grad student out of New Jersey. Crozier trying to get through. Excellent tackle there by Alyssa Eager. Up and down they go here as we move towards the late stages of the first quarter. Eager carrying as far as she can. Stripped away by Simon, but a foul. For those fans tuning in at home here on NCAA.com, we'll have a special guest coming up in the second quarter. Thrilled to announce that we'll be joined by NCAA President and former Governor of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker, here on our championship broadcast today. A little hip check there, and Donato whistled for the foul.
And I did hear that Charlie Baker may have a little bit of field hockey experience with his daughter playing in high school, so we'll have to ask him about that, see if he knows some of these rules.
Well, I'm sure he's excited to watch. That one clipped off the heel of Stroup. And that will get a reset here for the Warriors. East Stroudsburg leading 1-0 on the early goal by Leah Parker. Came less than 5 minutes in off a corner piece, and no surprise that those corner opportunities playing a pivotal role. It's the only one we've had so far, though.
Yeah, definitely a midfield dominated game right now. That one opportunity, and we've also seen Kutztown enter the ball 1 or 2 times into the circle, but really midfield is dominating the play right now.
Whistle and a foul will go against Kutztown there. Force the Bears to back up a little bit. They have been among the best defensive teams in the nation all year long. Again, just 10 goals allowed, now 11 after the goal by Parker in the first quarter. East Stroudsburg, a strong defensive group as well. These two teams only average about 5 shots per game allowed, so the opportunities are going to be few and far between. You go back to the regular season meeting between the two, and there were only 5 total shots on goal. So, those chances are not going to be frequent, so you have to try to take advantage when they do show up.
Absolutely. I mean, especially in games like this, you're not going to get a whole lot of opportunities. And right off the bat, East Stroudsburg took care of their first one.
So the defending national champions in front 1-0. And trying to enjoy that early confidence in this one as Kutztown tries to find its way back in this game. Bookman leading the charge. Her path blocked by Barbush, but a whistle. Donato will get the reset. Official will motion her to stop there. Now Donato trying to find a path. Stepped over the ball for a moment and then took out the defender. You can see how well the Warriors are doing at just keeping Kutztown from getting easy entry into the circle.
Yeah, they're playing fantastic individual defense right now. Sticks are low, line to goal is taken up, really, really limiting the entry of Kutztown into the circle. That's certainly, an indicator of an experienced defense.
Julia Cooper bouncing it forward. That one knocked out of bounds off the stick of Madison Klein. Playing in her 85th career game today, the grad student. One of the long veterans on this East Stroudsburg team. Not often you see a player get up to that many games over the course of a career.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long 5 years, obviously, with that COVID year. But when you come back and want to play, you just know you have unfinished business.
Under 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. East Stroudsburg leading 1-0 on a penalty corner goal by Leah Parker. This one blasted in toward the circle, quickly controlled and taken back out by Eager, and then she's bumped off the ball. Donato able to win it back. Can she find a way out? Able to slip through the first defender. Donato tries to dribble it through another, and then he's called for the infraction. Warriors trying to force the issue going forward here. Van Gills trying to muscle her way in. Quick restart from Kutztown, and they look for the breakout. Gonzalez slowed up by Lesh. And then Lesh called for the foul. There were numbers coming forward there for Kutztown, but Gonzalez couldn't quite get through that first tackle. Nice spin move there by Parker. Able to protect, gets it back to Lesh, and now East Stroudsburg will slow the tempo once again.
Right, they're probably looking to possess right now, slow some momentum down from Kutztown, who seems to have had possession over these last couple minutes. Nothing to show for it, but really dominating this ball movement.
Chance of ESU rising up from the stands here at Grapponi Stadium. They have been at it since more than 2 hours before this game got started. Out in the parking lot getting ready. Pumped as they try to become the first back-to-back national champions since Shippensburg won 3 straight between 2016 and 2018. Kutztown trying to answer the early goal. Gonzalez, though, dispossessed right at the line of the circle. Cooper over to take that one away. Battle for the ball. Eager will win possession here for Kutztown in the final 30 seconds. Just one shot on goal each way here so far over the first 15 minutes. And the Warriors and Simon will kill the clock here. Just taking it to the corner.
Yeah, that's certainly something that is important, is game management in these big games. You don't want to give up that turnover with 10, 12, 15 seconds left. You don't want to give the team an opportunity to come down and tie it up at halftime. So that really shows you the experience of East Stroudsburg.
Well, that experience carrying through in the first quarter. East Stroudsburg scoring on a penalty corner. Leah Parker's 4th of the year, and the Warriors have a 1-0 lead after one over Kutztown in this national championship. Welcome back here to Grapponi Stadium on the campus of St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire, and we are thrilled to be joined now by new NCAA president. I think we can still say new, right?
Well, I'm 9 months in at this point, so yeah, it still feels pretty new to me.
Yeah, NCAA President Charlie Baker joining us here on our championship broadcast. Thank you so much for taking the time, and welcome to New Hampshire. We know, New England is home for you, so, how has it been being out here on a great fall day?
Well, that's the first thing I would say is you couldn't pick a better day in New England than this one. I mean, it's absolutely sunny from one end of the campus to the other. And I said earlier to the president of the school as we were touring around, I said, this is exactly what you hope every day on a campus in New England looks like in the fall.
I mean, it is.
It's beautiful, just beautiful.
Certainly as picturesque as you can get. Well, as you said,
And you got a few rowdy fans out there from Pennsylvania and elsewhere who are here to watch these teams play, which is great.
There you go. Plenty of support from both East Stroudsburg and Kutztown. As you said, 9 months on the job. What have been some of your sort of initial impressions?
Well, I've had a chance to talk to a lot of student athletes over that period of time. I actually started talking to student athletes pretty much once the appointment was announced back in December. And I guess the first thing I would say is that, you know, as lousy and as difficult as things feel sometimes these days about everything, the time I spend talking to student athletes makes me feel a lot better about the future. I'll tell you that. They're great kids, and I really enjoy the sense of a sort of team and companionship and mutual support and purpose that they think they get from one another and from the sports they play, and how that really fits with the larger sort of learning objectives they have as students and as athletes. And that's been true across all three divisions. I mean, I've talked to D1, D2, and D3 student athletes quite a bit, men's and women's sports, and I really find those conversations to be incredibly helpful and enlightening and inspiring. The kids that are playing college sports these days are terrific.
And I mean, so many great opportunities for all of these student athletes as well. We know you're one of your previous employment opportunities as governor of Massachusetts. So yeah. I guess how would you compare the two roles?
Well, obviously the best part about being governor of a state that's the size of Massachusetts is I could pretty much wrap my arms physically and geographically around it. The lieutenant governor, Karen Polito, and I managed to spend a lot of time with all of our colleagues in local government, and you know, it wasn't that hard to find us, and you could really feel like you could get a boots on the ground sense about what was going on. It's a little harder to do that when you have 1,100 schools, 500,000 athletes, 19,000 teams across 50 states, and I made this commitment early on when I took the job that I was going to try and meet with all 97 conferences in the first 100 days.
Wow.
Which, coming from where I was, didn't sound like a crazy idea.
Right.
I managed to get it done in about 150 days instead of 100, and it was incredibly informative to talk to all the conferences across all three divisions. But I think the big difference is just scale, and for me that is probably one of the most challenging elements of this, because I think of myself as sort of a retail player. I like to be able to meet and see and get to know the people that I'm working with, and I'll certainly do the best I can to continue to reach out and engage with folks, but it's a big community.
Absolutely. Well, you had talked about, you know, getting the chance to talk with so many conferences and student athletes. We know one of the big challenges now is sort of post-pandemic, and what has changed really for the student athlete experience. I think we've sort of learned that, you know, these students are certainly capable of being competitive and learning and being in the classroom in many different ways.
I think the two biggest things I would say for the students, one is that fifth year of eligibility. I can't tell you how many kids I've met over the course of the last 9 months who are playing that fifth year, and because of COVID, for many of them, the fifth year is actually their second year in graduate school, not their first year. For a lot of them, it's a first year in graduate school, but it definitely changed the dynamic in some respects with respect to how they thought about and planned out their time as a student athlete. The other thing I would say is, you know, there was a lot of movement among student athletes from school to school during that period, but, you know, I say this all the time, there's a higher percentage of non-student athlete collegiate students who transferred over the course of 2022 than the percentage of student athletes who did. Everybody talks about the fact that, you know, 21,000 D1 student athletes transferred in 22. What they don't talk about is as a percent of the total, that's actually smaller than the percent of all college students who transferred who weren't student athletes. And I gave a couple of graduation speeches last spring, and I was thinking when I was writing them, the class of 23 was the last class to enter before the pandemic. So class of 24 and 25, probably didn't really see a campus physically and have a chance to kick the tires on it, get to know people, get a sense of the campus before they had to make a decision. And then their first year, of course, was for many of them incredibly unusual. And so I think the fact that a bunch of student athletes and a bunch of students made decisions to change shouldn't surprise us that much, because they didn't really get the same opportunity that most people get to make a decision about where to go and where they think their fit's going to be best in the first place.
Well, certainly all about finding that right fit. Again, 9 months on the job. Is this the first of these championship events that you've had a chance to attend, or have you been to a couple of others in the spring or in the fall this year?
So I went to the D2 Swing and Diving Championship last year, which was in Indianapolis. The first event I walked in on was the 500-meter freestyle, which you watch a race like that and you just feel so inadequate as an athlete. I don't care what you did. I mean, those distance swimmers, man, that is a grind, okay? And I did manage to go to the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. I went to the Men's Baseball World Series in Omaha. I obviously went to the Women's and Men's Basketball Championships in Houston and Dallas. Let's see now. I went to the Men's D3 Ice Hockey Championship. I've tried. Look, I view my job here as to support student athletes and and to help them, sort of achieve their scholastic and their athletic goals and objectives. And that means I got to go watch them play, and I got to talk to them, and I got to get a sense about the campuses they're on and how they feel about how things are going and what we could do better. And so, I try to go to a lot of games. I mean, and yes, going to games is fun, but I usually wrap that up with conversations with coaches and athletic directors and school leaders and student athletes when I'm there, because that's in some respects the best opportunity I'm ever going to have to get face-to-face with a lot of these people. And, 2 days ago I was in Washington State, which is very far from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Absolutely.
And I had a chance to talk to a number of folks on the football team and a whole bunch of their Olympic sports, talked to a bunch of their coaches, a bunch of their athletic administrators, and Washington State's obviously in a tough spot at the moment because of the sort of semi-dissolution of the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. They and Oregon State are still the two standing members. And then here I am, 48 hours later, on a beautiful fall day in New Hampshire, having a great opportunity to watch this D2 championship take place in field hockey, and that, for your listeners and your viewers, that's what I would say is that's a little bit of the spread geographically, right, and organizationally that you're talking about when you talk about college sports. Well, certainly a huge challenge, but I know we are all very thankful to have you on the job and working hard at it already in these first 9 months. While we have a play under review, we appreciate you taking the time, and we'll let you go enjoy the rest of this beautiful fall day and this game. I will absolutely be happy to do both, and I appreciate you being here as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is the voice of NCAA President Charlie Baker joining us here on this Division II championship final. East Stroudsburg in front of Kutztown 1-0 with 9:30 to go here in the second quarter. First review of the day is seeing whether or not we'll get another penalty corner chance here, but it will go against the Warriors. You can see, didn't quite catch the foot, it looks like, there on the replay. So a break for Kutztown as we welcome Coach Shannon LeBlanc back in.
Yeah, I'm unsure on that video review if East Stroudsburg will in fact lose their video review or if there wasn't enough information to overturn the call on the field. So we may have to wait for some notification of that. Hard angle there when you call that video review over in that right corner. Not sure if the camera angles can pick up everything that these officials would need to see.
During our interview with President Baker, we also saw Charlotte Simon shaken up a little bit, had to be attended to by the athletic trainer, but is out on the field again for East Stroudsburg. Big collision over on the far side. Looks like this is going to be a corner awarded from outside the circle. So this is going to be the first penalty corner chance for Kutztown. They do have a shot on goal, but Coach, as we saw in that first quarter, opportunities to get into the circle for the Golden Bears have been very few and far between.
Well, Ben, that's also resulting in a card for Nicole Crozier. So that's a 2-minute green card. So they'll be without one of their best players, and that call being upgraded to a corner call. Huge opportunity for Kutztown right now.
So the Golden Bears score on a corner Friday. This one played short. Out just beyond the circle, comes back to Kyle. Shot ricochets up into the air. Kyle able to settle it back down. It did go off a foot, so it's going to be a follow-up corner here for Kutztown.
Yeah, that was stifling defense from East Stroudsburg there. It's almost like they knew the corner play that Kutztown was calling. They were on the ball very quickly, so I am sure Kutztown has something else up their sleeve. I know Coach Schuing talked a little bit about changing some corner plays for this weekend because each of these teams know each other so well.
Comes the insert up to the top. Donato's shot looked like it hit a foot, and again, another follow-up corner. One thing we haven't noted yet, wind is very stiff out there. Wind gusts up in the 20-mile-an-hour range at least, and it is blowing left to right across the field. So if you're inserting right now for Kutztown, you've got that wind at your back.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this, the weather is always something that plays into games. And even though we're in this stadium, these athletes are certainly having to run through some pretty significant wind right now.
It is going to be Gonzalez on the insert. 4 spread around the circle for Kutztown, 3 trailing behind. Donato had it skip past her, settled out there by Harold, got it back through. Bookman's shot blocked. Bookman still with it, throws it to the front, and it is kicked out by Soupy. Covering up on that near post. Kutztown still able to get a shot away, but certainly not the crispest corner that you would think they would have liked.
Yeah, I think sometimes with the surface and wind and get an extra little hop here, sometimes those receptions are really, really difficult to make. So, but what you love to see is a team like Kutztown, even though it wasn't as perfectly played, they still made something happen from it with a shot on goal.
Simon able to settle and just blast it on a long diagonal to reset the field here for ESU. Brought back in by Panatti. That one skips away from Kyle, tracked down by Simon, but a whistle against the Warriors.
Yeah, just a little dangerous ball in the middle of the field there to bring that ball back for Kutztown. The lifted balls are really caused by danger or called due to danger, and the officials thought that was something warranted Kutztown taking the ball back.
Donato trying to weave through the traffic cones is tripped up. You can see the Warriors just continuing to collapse back into their defensive end. Donato tries to slip it through, draws the foul on Van Gils. Again, Warriors getting almost 6-7 bodies in the circle right now to defend. Back out it comes for Trainer. Down the line, Kyle works to the end line, throws it off the leg of Lesh. That whistle's going to go Kutztown's way, though. Lesh was petitioning, saying that was a dangerous play by Kyle. Just outside the circle, Trainer will get the restart. Drags it back for Shea Bennett. Winds up, fires into the circle, looking for a tip. It's loose. A shot kicked out by Soupy. Oh, that ball found Gonzalez in a perfect spot, but Soupy was right there again.
Yeah, fantastic entry ball by Shea Bennett. She has done a tremendous job today of finding great lines. She's got great hands, real high-intensity player, and really looking to make sure her team puts a ball in the back of the cage.
Gonzalez interfered with, trying to find her way into the circle here. Can't split the double team. Spinning away is Crozier just off the bench after the penalty. Able to clear it all the way out to midfield, shadowed there by Donato. Plays it back across into the middle, 50-50 ball, won by J.D. Van Gils. Now it's the Warriors trying to get out in transition, but Van Gils too far in front of Crozier. Six minutes left to go in the first half. East Stroudsburg leading 1-0 on the early goal by Leah Parker. Kutztown trying to find a way to create more chances. Well, this is very different from the way the national championship played out a year ago. Nice knockdown there by Maddie Klein. Gets into the circle, and as it's stripped away by Eager, Donato on the outlet, slowed up by Crozier. Draws the whistle. Donato tried to tumble it forward. Looked like she muffed that hit a little bit. Now Van Gils stripped away. Nice defensive play there by Gonzalez. It was actually Greenlee McGeehee who had the takeaway. Donato got around Van Gils. Couldn't get it through the double team, though, in the direction of Bookman. And we saw Donato kind of just run up and down through the midfield with impunity on Friday, and that has not been the case today.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously East Stroudsburg has her number. They know how effective she can be if she's given room to run and do the things that she likes to do. So East Stroudsburg certainly limiting her time on the ball, but still she's finding a way. And what makes a special player is someone that even if you're marked up all over the field, you're still making things happen for your team.
Doyle lost it out on the end line, so it'll go back over to ESU. Barbush slings it out to Simon. They'll move it through the midfield with Crozier, connecting to Van Gils. Up the line.
Yeah, that's fantastic ball movement by East Stroudsburg, really making sure they use all of their players and use that ball speed to their advantage. Finding that open lane and going up the left side is just really, really critical in getting the ball up to the field and in the circle.
There's Klein, hasn't had too many touches today. Eager wins another defensive battle. It's been a strong defensive performance out on the side for Eager.
Yeah, and I think both teams are really locking up the middle. They don't want to give that easy lane to goal, so you're going to have to go around the defense, and I think both teams are figuring that out and really creating a lot of opportunities from the outside.
And now Kutztown out shooting ESU 5-3, shots on goal 3-2 in favor of the Warriors. That sort of tells the story of how this first half has played out. Kutztown's had a fair amount of possession. They just haven't had a high degree of danger opportunity. Bennett kicked it along. Will be whistled for that.
Yeah, Shea Bennett just overran that ball and got a foot on that, but fantastic takeaway and individual defense to try to move that ball up the field.
Cooper, bouncing ball, knocked down in the circle. Going to be cleared away there by the Golden Bears. That was once again Eager controlling it.
Yeah, Eager's had a fantastic first half defensively. She is in a great line to goal, coming up with some great tackles, great interceptions, really, really making sure that she's making East Stroudsburg's job really hard to get any opportunities in there.
Bennett was running out of space, just played it off a body to earn the whistle. Lifts it down the line, off a hop, settled by Doyle. Tries to play it back across. Knocked down out of midair by Bella Virouette. Looking for transition. Virouette tumbles it forward into the circle. Parker had it stripped away. Once again, it was Bennett there. Kutztown looking to break out. Kyle doesn't have the numbers, so has to slow the pace.
Yeah, you can see that East Stroudsburg's really having this defensive mindset, really keeping numbers behind the ball, which if you don't have numbers for Kutztown up the field, really hard to create opportunities. So I think what you'll see Coach Schuing talk to her team about is stretching the field after the second half to really create some numbers up situations, which is hard to do.
Donato tried to find some space. Couldn't get that self-pass through. Simon wins it. They tried to do that in transition a moment ago as Donato tried to lay it out for Stroup, but just put a little too much on the pass. Kutztown looking for a quick push back up the field here in the final 95 seconds of the first half. Donato on a restart, forced back a few yards. Doyle working the other side of the field now. Shadowed by Barbush. Doyle running out of space, needs some help, finds McGeehee. Tried to get it back across. Van Gils there for the takeaway.
Suffocating defense by East Stroudsburg. And then they have speed to go on transition so quickly.
Another good step up by Eager, though, to deny Van Gils an opportunity in transition. Here's Doyle again, trying to whack it into the circle. And they're going to whistle Doyle, I believe, for the dangerous hit here.
Again, we talk about this game management at the last 40 seconds of the quarter and what East Stroudsburg looking to do. You don't want to give over any unnecessary turnovers, because if Kutztown gets their opportunity to get in the circle, you know, going into half with a tie game is certainly what Kutztown's looking to do.
Here's McGeehee. Poked away by Parker. 20 seconds left. Parker will send it up the field. Nobody on the receiving end. Waiting to collect is Panatti. And Panatti will circle back. Maybe just looking to wind out the time here. Trainer pressured. Keeps it away. And that will do it for the first half. So the early goal still stands from East Stroudsburg. The Warriors getting a goal on a Leah Parker penalty corner. The assist from Grace Lesh came just a few minutes into the first, and despite plenty of possession, Kutztown only able to manage 2 shots on goal and a couple of penalty corners, but nothing on the board yet for the Golden Bears. We'll take a timeout. Back with the third quarter in this national championship game between East Stroudsburg and Kutztown on NCAA.com.
Take home a unique souvenir from today's championship. Visit NCAA merchandise stands underneath the city.
Welcome back to coverage of the Division II Field Hockey National Championship here from Grapponi Stadium on the campus of St. Ansem College in Manchester, New Hampshire. Ben Alter back here with you alongside UMass Lowell head coach Shannon LeBlanc. And you see the Kutztown Golden Bears and the East Stroudsburg Warriors running back out onto the field ready to start the third quarter. Warriors in front 1-0 on an early goal by Leah Parker. Came back in the first few minutes, just 2:17 into the game on a penalty corner. It was one of just 2 corner chances for ESU. Kutztown had a couple as well, but really the high degree of danger chances, Coach, not there for either team today outside of the goal.
Well, right, and that's what I'd say, Ben, about these big games. When you have 2 outstanding teams, you're not going to see a whole lot of opportunities for either team, really going to be a lot of midfield play, but those opportunities you get, you have to capitalize on, and certainly East Stroudsburg did that with the most simplest of corners, an insert, a straight shot from the top, goal, and they kept it simple, and now they're up 1-0.
Coach, as that first half played out, we saw Kutztown was really able to get a good amount of possession. Felt like it, if you were to draw out a possession percentage chart, Kutztown might have had a majority of it in that first half, but only able to get 5 shots, only 2 shots on goal. How do they get more dangerous here in the second half?
Right, we talked about that. They have great possession of the ball. I think what they're lacking right now is maybe numbers above the ball, getting up the field a little bit quicker, giving Juliana Donato someone to pass to get into the circle. But I will say this, East Stroudsburg is playing stifling defense, making the field really small, really making it hard for Kutztown to find a line to goal.
Early whistle and a word of caution here as Gonzalez will leave the restart for Juliana Donato. Meanwhile, you talked about East Stroudsburg and their sort of expert game management. Are you trying to manage a 1-0 lead to back-to-back national titles, or do you feel like the Warriors maybe have to look for more opportunities to get the ball up the field?
I'm sure Coach Miller is a little bit conflicted on how she wants to approach this second half. Certainly a 1-goal lead, probably not enough to win a national championship. However, we've seen a lot of these big games decided by 1 goal. You can see they're a little bit cautious on defense. They're definitely keeping numbers behind the ball. So I would say right now they are holding tight to that lead and really aren't looking to make any dangerous plays where they're sending too many people up the field.
Certainly don't want to get caught up the field and give too much space to the Kutztown offense. Now that defense has been stifling, as you said today. Not just through the midfield, but, they're almost setting up a mobile wall around the circle at times, 2-3 players deep, not allowing Kutztown any easy entry.
No, and even those 2 defensive corners that they defended were outstanding. Really out quick, out in front of the ball, and not giving Kutztown any opportunities to get a straight shot.
Alyssa Eager's pass knocked away in the midfield. And the foul called on Hannah Lewis of East Stroudsburg. She thought she was the one impeded there. 50-50 battle for the ball, and the whistle will go Kutztown's way. McGeehee lost it out of bounds. Poked out by an East Stroudsburg stick, though. Greenlee McGeehee brings it back in, immediately jumped on by 2 ESU defenders. Now a third comes over. Charlotte Simon to knock it out again. Just Warriors turning this into a grind for Kutztown. That one deflected up and out. Parker, the goal scorer, on the reset. It's been a heck of a weekend for the grad student Leah Parker. 2 assists on Friday in the semifinal win over Assumption. Has the goal today. That has East Stroudsburg on the precipice of winning back-to-back national championships. That high ball, Gonzalez tried to reach up and knock it down. Couldn't control it. Simon again trapped in the corner. Able to zip that pass out to J.D. Van Gils. Got it through the first defender. Van Gils able to carry it along. Moves it down the line for Madison Klein. Klein one-on-one with Eager here. Klein trying to work her way into the circle. And it is going to be a corner. Just got to the boundary there and put it right off the toe of Eager. Right at the edge, but the official had the call for the corner. And again, East Stroudsburg's going to have an early scoring chance to start the second half.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Madison Klein on Friday. She's got fantastic stick work and really creates a lot of scoring opportunities. We haven't talked about her much today in this first half, but clearly came out with a vengeance in this second half and created that corner opportunity a couple minutes in, which is going to be super important for East Stroudsburg.
So see if they go with the same look here. Same stack setup at the top. Lesh again to insert. Comes up high, Parker leaves it, comes over to Klein. Her shot into the mixer, bouncing ball, it's loose. Nobody there on the backside. Finally, Crozier gathers it up. Crozier spinning to the backhand. Crozier looking to fire up high, catches a body, and will be another penalty corner chance for East Stroudsburg.
Yeah, it looks like it was just deflected off her teammate's stick into her body. That's why there is a corner being called. But fantastic play by Nicole Crozier to put that ball into play and either take a shot or get that corner. I mean, as a coach, you always want that. If you don't have a clear shot to go find that corner, give us another opportunity.
Lesh again to insert. Parker runs it. Klein near side. The shot deflected up high. Lesh at the near post, trying for that deflection. She scored a goal from a similar spot on Friday, but this time the shot was high and Lesh couldn't knock it down.
Yeah, it's fantastic power by Madison Klein. Those are hard to defend, and especially when you're shooting it at your own teammate, to get that deflection in is certainly a hard task.
Eager goes for a tumble. Donato will lift this aerial down the field. Bouncing ball. Gonzalez try to get in behind it. Able to poke it through the first defender. Gonzalez lined up one-on-one now. Gets into the circle. Was she able to win the corner? No. Looked like she was trying to roll it off the foot of Cooper. But here's one of those long aerials. Donato was able to get it into space, and Gonzalez, with that great makeup speed, had a chance.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play by Juliana Donato to see that space in her teammate. Always tough, though, when you're 1-on-2 and then have a goalie. There's that pressure on you as a forward, and I knew she was looking for that corner only because she didn't have any numbers, and unfortunately just rolled off the end line.
You talked about East Stroudsburg not necessarily trying to see this game out by locking up defensively. They've started to push back a little bit. Couple of corner chances. Now trying to establish some more possession here, and time just continues to whittle away on Kutztown.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what East Stroudsburg's trying to do. They're a fantastic team that uses the whole field. They really like to move the ball, find each other, create these 2-on-1 situations. In this first few minutes, they've definitely done a great job, which has resulted in some great opportunities for them.
And just really the versatility to be able to win in all different ways. If they need to score 3-4 times to beat you, they can do that. If they need to hold you to a 1-0 game, they can do that too.
Yeah, that is just an experienced team, and I think you're seeing that from their senior leadership right now, is really making sure that they utilize the field, they create some opportunities. But it looks like we have one of their best on the bench right now with a 2-minute card.
Yep, Van Gils just sent off. Second card today against the Warriors. Lewis as it's stripped away. Long hit into space. Kyle on the receiving end of it. Nice step up there by Cooper to slow her down. Kyle will circle back. Trainer had it knocked away. Just a clearing hit that time. Back into the middle of the field. Kyle battling with Parker. The two number 10s going at it. And Lewis in there to help win the battle for ESU. Now it's Lesh. Got through the double team. Bounced over to Parker, slipped past her, right onto the stick of Donato. Now it's Kutztown trying to move through the midfield. Doyle with the pass forward. Out wide, McGeehee took a bump, back for Doyle into the circle, and we got a whistle and a foul outside from Simon. Foul did not come until after both players were outside the circle, so it doesn't result in a corner chance. And right away, the Warriors collapse back defensively into that shell again. Kyle trying to muscle her way in, finds Donato. Stripped away. Good defensive play by Lesh, and Donato commits the foul.
Yeah, that was a great 3-on-3. I thought something was going to result from that. Kutztown did a fantastic job of getting numbers high, but then there is East Stroudsburg locking it up, getting people behind the ball, and making it really difficult for Kutztown to find that entry into the circle.
Donato gives it a whack. On the redirect, it finds Doyle in the corner. Doyle working 1-on-2, trying to find the angle into the circle. Doyle lost it behind her. And again, the numbers game wins out defensively for East Stroudsburg.
Yeah, suffocating defense by East Stroudsburg, really making it difficult when you're on the ball. It's really, really the sign of a great defensive team.
Stelma's pass taken away.
I know Coach Miller just said, when she watches her own team play, she wants to be the hardest team anyone has played. And she looks out there in the depth that she runs and the personnel that she has, no matter what subs they make, you really, really can't see a difference in level of play.
Aerial ball into the circle. Looks like it's going to be whistled, dangerous hit.
Yeah, looks like it was into a pile of players. Really close, though. Hit off a foot of an East Stroudsburg. That could have easily resulted in a corner as well. Scary situation. But Shannon Taylor has the call, and those aerial balls really, really are important to call properly. There's danger associated with them, and you just really want to make sure you get it right.
Got to make sure there's plenty of space around where those balls end up landing. Back pass for Barbush.
Yeah, again, East Stroudsburg just showing how they can utilize this whole field.
Donato cut off Simon's pass, but then immediately surrounded by 2 or 3 players, drew the whistle as well. Donato again, searching for some help. Donato trying to knife through. Went off a foot. Donato now to the edge of the circle, whacks it toward the front of goal. Gathered in by Simon and cleared. And no panic for the Warriors inside their own end.
No, and Juliana Donato does a great job of playing really fast. Anytime she hears that whistle, her intention is to check that ball and get it into the circle as fast as she can to create some opportunities. She's done a fantastic job on the right side.
Quick reset here for Kyle right at the top. Tried to go for the reverse hit. That was partially blocked. Kyle quickly back on top of it, trying to work it in toward the front. Ball knocked down. Cooper looking to clear, and it's going to be a corner. Caught somebody's foot in there. I'm not sure if it was Cooper or somebody else, but either way, Kutztown will take it. It'll be their first corner chance of the second half.
I am so impressed with Mackenzie Kyle and her work rate. She attacks, she defends, she really is the consummate team player and very, very well-rounded. I am sure Kutztown is very happy to have her with them for her 5th year. She's doing a fantastic job today.
A little bit of a switch up. It's going to be Doyle on the insert now. Once again, same look from the penalty corners, 4 around the wings. It's going to be Donato to receive at the top. Donato moving to the right side, didn't get much on the shot, and it's quickly cleared. Well defended that time by East Stroudsburg. Van Gils, with the penalty expired, launched it forward. It's going to be a clock stoppage and another card. They're going to send Virouette off. She did not stop on the initial whistle. Maybe just didn't hear it, but either way, it's going to be a bad break. It's not even a green, it's a yellow card. So Virouette is off for 5, and Sandy Miller saying you're giving her a yellow card because she didn't hear your whistle.
As a coach, I am going to not comment on this, Ben. I think I can see it up here either way. I can understand Coach Miller's confusion and concern, but certainly Shannon, I know Shannon Taylor believe they've been giving warnings about not stopping on the whistle, continuing to play. We've seen a couple green cards, so really, really talking about game management and making sure that each of the players are disciplined and they don't take away opportunities from the other team.
Yeah, a little tough from our perspective inside the press box to really hear. I mean, there could have been 2-3 whistles and Virouette might have still been going. So you know, a little hard from our vantage point to really tell, but that was certainly the call, was the fact that Virouette just kept on going through the initial whistle. Even shorthanded, here's a chance developing. Crozier throws it across the face of goal, and it'll go out on the end line. Nobody there on the backside to tip it in for East Stroudsburg, but even shorthanded, they're able to create a good scoring chance.
Yeah, that's fantastic heads-up play. Getting that ball up the field with speed, knowing that you're a player down is just really, again, a sign of a championship experienced team in East Stroudsburg.
Another whistle against the Warriors. They'll leave it off here for Eager. Some confusion maybe on the Kutztown side as to who's going to take that reset. This aerial ball knocked down by Simon, kept in play. It looked like that might have just landed out of bounds. Simon bumps down Gonzalez. Stoppage. We're going to get another card here. Simon's going to be sent off for that hip check. And that's another yellow. So ESU going to be shorthanded by 2 for the next 3.5 minutes. It's going to eclipse all of the rest of this third quarter. And the penalty time for Simon will carry over into the fourth. This is a massive opportunity here for the Golden Bears.
Huge opportunity right now, at least for the next 3.5 minutes. When you are 2 players up, you've got to find your open player to create some scoring opportunities. Obviously, like we've said, East Stroudsburg has done a fantastic job defending, but when you're down 2 players, really, really hard to do. So Kutztown has to find each other with this pass and play mentality.
You said Kutztown might just need some space to operate. 2 bodies out on the defensive side. That's going to give you some space. It's going to lead to another penalty corner here as McGeehee took it along the end line and played it off a foot.
Yeah, this is Kutztown's opportunity right now. I mean, they have all the momentum. They've got the 2-player advantage. They've earned enough corners to have seen, you know, what East Stroudsburg's running for defense. They really, really need to make sure they make something of this opportunity. As we know in championship games, you don't get that many, so making sure you take care of your opportunities is super important.
And the 2 players out right now for East Stroudsburg on those penalties are Virouette and Simon, 2 of their top backs. Here comes the insert. Played back to the near side by Gatehouse. Little spin. Bouncing ball toward the front. Fought for. And we have a whistle going against Kutztown. So again, not much developing off that initial corner look.
Yeah, again, East Stroudsburg does a fantastic job with their corner defense unit, making it very, very difficult if everything isn't perfect from the insert out for Kutztown. So that's something they're definitely going to want to talk about at the end of this quarter. What can they make changes on with their corner unit?
Donato tried to fire a ball in there. Crozier knocked it down. Van Gils brings it back into play, just looking to clear one out. 2:22 to go. It's going to be a long 2:20. 2 bodies short-handed for East Stroudsburg.
Yeah, it's funny how the clock can be your best friend or your worst enemy, and I'm sure Kutztown is feeling like it's an enemy right now because you're really, really wanting to make something happen, and then you're feeling like the clock is moving fast. East Stroudsburg, it's moving too slow.
Gatehouse to McGeehee. Drops it off. Donato has to go recollect. You can see the Kutztown bench trying to spur them on and give them some urgency.
It's a great pass.
Into space, thrown toward the front. Bouncing ball, knocked down, a shot. Soupy to save it. Still loose in front. This one trickles in. The Golden Bears find an equalizer. Van Gils calling for a referral. They're going to take another look at this. But for now, Kutztown has tied it with the 2-player advantage. Let's take another look. There's that initial knockdown by Soupy, and it was Bookman who just rolled it through. A slow rolling shot for the senior, but for Jillian Bookman, it is a massive goal to tie this game.
Yeah, it started with a great pass to a wide open player, and I'm not quite sure who that was who had the entry, but that was a fantastic heads-up play. I think it's under review. It may look like it's hit a foot off the rebound of Amy Soupy onto a Kutztown player's foot, but I'm not quite sure if we can see that, but I know it'll be great video feedback for the officials right in the center of that circle.
Yeah, that appeared to be the argument, was that Bookman stopped that ball with her foot before shooting it. looked like you could see she picked up her right leg. Like, she was aware that she did not want to step on that ball.
Yeah, she certainly heads up play there. She knew that little rebound was going to come back at her, so you're doing everything you can to keep your feet out of the way, your stick on the ground, and just looking for that push back in, which she did. Unsure if it did hit her foot or not, but we're confident that Andrew Estrada in the video booth will be able to make that clear call.
So we've not mentioned this yet, but with these video reviews, we do have a separate official up with our video team who's reviewing all the angles to see whether the call on the field stands. And of course, in all of these referral situations, it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field as well.
Right, and a lot of these teams have not experienced video review all season long, so to have it in the national championship game is a bonus for all, for the officials, for the players on the field, for the coaches, because you feel like the call is going to be correct. So it's really, really a nice added bonus to have video review, especially in these championship events.
Team of 4 officials, and it is confirmed. A good goal. Jillian Bookman, for the second time this year, has scored against East Stroudsburg, and she's done it in the national title game to make it a 1-1 game. So with a minute 43 to go, we start all over again, and unlike in ice hockey, the penalty does not expire.
It does not expire, and I'm unsure, but East Stroudsburg may have lost their opportunity for video review for the rest of the game now.
Yeah, that was a referral from the East Stroudsburg player. You saw Van Gils go over and signal, so no more challenge or no more referral opportunity for ESU for the rest of this one. So Virouette and Simon remain on the bench. It's about a 7-second difference on the Virouette penalty and the game clock. So her penalty will expire just before the end of this third quarter, but Kutztown will still carry over that advantage into the fourth with Simon's penalty still running.
In these big games, discipline in your play physically is so important. You don't want to put your team in a position where you're sitting out for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. So I'm sure they're going to collect themselves, come back in for that fourth quarter, and make sure they're really being disciplined.
There's Stelma firing one in to knock it down. Van Gils was appealing for a penalty corner. It did not come. Everybody on the ESU bench had the arm up as well. Gatehouse just able to skip around that ball.
Yeah, here we go. We talk about this game management. 28 seconds left in this quarter, and both of tied. What you're looking to do right now is not give it any unnecessary opportunities. Possession is so important.
Given away here in the midfield. Maybe not enough time to make anything happen. 10 seconds left as it's one back here. McGehee through the midfield, drew the whistle. Not enough time as Donato gets the restart. But Kutztown taking advantage of the extra bodies, getting the goal from Bookman, her 8th of the year, her 2nd against East Stroudsburg this season. And we got 15 minutes left in regulation to try to decide a national champion. 1-1 between the Warriors and Golden Bears here from New Hampshire.
The next great moment in sports history. Find a championship near you.
Well, the East Stroudsburg fans a little bit desolate after giving up the tying goal after their defense stood strong through the better part of 3 quarters, but unable to survive a couple of yellow cards late in that third quarter. And the Kutztown Golden Bears with renewed life in search of their first ever national championship, getting a goal from Jillian Bookman, her 8th of the year, to tie this game 1-1 as we head for the fourth quarter. Alongside UMass Lowell head coach Shannon LeBlanc, Ben Alcher back here with you at Grapponi Stadium, campus of St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. And Coach To be honest, this is really what we were hoping for, right? 15 minutes to try to decide a national champion.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have two of the best teams in the country playing, you expect it to be, you know, a one-goal game, a tied game, an exciting game, and certainly this is what this game is living up to be. Great defense by both teams. Great finishing of very few opportunities by both teams, and to have a 1-1 score going to the fourth quarter. The nerves are pumping, the energy's pumping. I saw Leah Parker pumping East Stroudsburg up, and I just love that as we go into the fourth quarter. Which way is the momentum going to shift? Where is the energy at? But you've got some great players out there that want to make sure that they hoist this championship trophy up in 15 minutes. But what we love about field hockey, Ben, we could go into overtime. And that is a special time for players out there when we reduce the numbers to just 7. I don't know if anybody wants that. I always love a good overtime game if I'm not in it or coaching it, but I'm not quite sure Sandy Miller or Marcy's looking forward to that.
Well, seeing these players in space certainly would be a delight. Gonzalez just able to keep it in on the far sideline. Has some opportunity moving forward, thrown into the circle. It's knocked away. Excellent defensive play there by Virouette, just back into the game off that yellow card, and comes up with a big stop there.
Yeah, you can see that energy from Kutztown right off the bat. First 30 seconds, they're working the ball into that circle, looking for that opportunity. That's when you really want to catch your opponent off guard, is in the opening minutes of a quarter.
Tackle from Trainer. Kyle, the trailer, coming in to the edge of the circle, throws it in. Kyle, after the loose ball, kicked it.
And East Stroudsburg just take a deep breath, really utilizing their strength is moving the ball and getting out of that center of the field. They've got a great defensive unit. They know how to possess the ball really well, and that's what they need to do right now, is just slow it down a little bit, let that energy just minimize itself.
About to get back to even strength. 10 seconds left on the yellow card to Charlotte Simon. Klein unable to keep it in. Quick restart from McGeehee. Stop and start along the sideline. McGeehee with a little room in front, gets into the circle, but then has it poked away. Continuation here for East Stroudsburg. Gotten away to Klein. Nice takeaway by Donato. Juliana Donato tried to get back to the middle, but then it's Lesh. Back and forth takeaways. Klein, some nifty stick work to hold that in on the sideline. Got into the middle, slips it through for J.D. Van Gils. Up ahead for Hannah Lewis. Now Kutztown trying to recover defensively. Lewis waiting for support, lifted it high, and will be called for the dangerous play.
Yeah, you can see East Stroudsburg, once they get into that pass and play mode, really hard to defend. I think both teams right now are really trying to dribble too much through great defensive players. So if you can utilize your teammates in that pass and play, you're going to make strides up the field much quicker. In East Stroudsburg, unfortunately, a little flick, high ball, but with 3 passes, they were already in the circle.
Here's Lewis again on the turn. Lewis carries it in deep, all the way to the end line. Lewis working on the back end as it knocked away out of bounds. Coming over with the low stick tackle was Panati. East Stroudsburg trying to become the first back-to-back national champion since Shippensburg won 3 straight, 2016 to 2018. Trying to firmly plant themselves as the new team to beat year in and year out in Division II. It would be their 3rd title in less than a decade. And you look back at the national champions, we talked a little bit on Friday, Coach, about how it has been these teams from the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference that have dominated, as Van Gils unleashes a high shot just over the crossbar.
What a skill. Yes, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference every year, and as long as I've been in coaching, at least since the last 25 years, just dominating. And we talked about it, Ben. It's spread out. Everyone's had their turn, you said, and you're not wrong. In the likes of Bloomsburg and Lockhaven and Westchester, Millersville's had a crack at it, Shippensburg, and now we're putting Kutztown into the mix with East Stroudsburg. It's unbelievable the level of field hockey that has continued out of that conference.
Well, they have all sort of had their turns as the dominant team for a period of time. Shippensburg sort of the last dynasty, having won 4 of the last 5 national titles, and this might be the blossoming of the East Stroudsburg dynasty if they can win it today. Or maybe it's Kutztown saying, hey, we're here to play. And this is the first of what could be more national titles for this Golden Bears program.
Yeah, Sandy Miller in her 39th year of coaching. It's unbelievable. Never waning, never tired, always wanting to, continue to build and improve and win those national championships. It's a testament to who she is as a coach. It's really unbelievable, her longevity and her success.
And it's funny because East Stroudsburg is maybe not that far removed from sort of being in a similar position to where Kutztown is now. For a long time they were a team in or around the national tournament, but didn't necessarily have that national success until 2015. Van Gils has just come off the field, and she is seated in the bench area right now, needing to be tended to by the ESU athletic training staff. Keep an eye on her as play continues.
Yeah, Coach Schuing has done a fantastic job of building a great culture at Kutztown. They've always been known for great field hockey, and then she came in and has really, really built it up the right way, finding the right players, building success one season at a time, and obviously in her 10th year, must be super excited to be here today playing for a national championship. And we've talked about it, Ben. It's really hard to get here, but staying here is even more difficult.
Donato weaving. Fires it, deflected down in the circle. Kyle trying to keep it in. Kyle bounces it toward the front. Again, too many layers there for East Stroudsburg, and the Warriors will clear out. Van Gils still seated in the bench area trying to recover. She wants back in this game badly. Donato wins the whistle. In continuation, Donato fires it. Soupy kicks it away. Rebound control. Thrown back toward the front by Kutztown. Fought for. Bookman in there. Soupy with a kick save. A juggling ball. It hit a foot. And a corner coming for the Bears.
What an opportunity for Kutztown right now. They were peppering that circle. Really great stick work. Sometimes you're throwing the ball at the goal just to get something to happen, and that's certainly what just happened there. They were just putting that ball to play, someone else to finish it for them, and they found that foot to get this corner opportunity with just barely 9 minutes left in this quarter.
It'll be their 5th of the day. They really haven't produced much off these corners, but now would be the time. They go with a tighter setup here than they have had all day. Here comes the insert. Bouncing ball toward the front. Soupy kicks it away. Rebound fought for, shot, and another save. Still alive in the circle. Couple whacks at it, and it hit another foot. Follow-up chance coming here for Kutztown. They kind of went no nonsense that time with the corner.
Yeah, no nonsense. Great insert from the beginning. Look to just get a little flick onto goal. What happens when you just flick the ball onto goal, Ben, is that you're probably not going to get a huge clear from the goalie. So you know it's going to bounce back in, and you want someone of your teammates just to clean it up and put it back. But Amy Soupy there to make those 3 saves in a row, and that is just experience and confidence in goalkeeping.
Gonzalez with the insert again. Donato receives. Donato drags it. Back flick. It's Kyle with a low shot. Looking for a deflection. They score! Kyle went for the post side tip. It came back in front, and Soupy got caught leaning the wrong way. Kutztown has a 2-1 lead off a corner goal.
That's amazing. With 8 minutes left, you put that ball in the cage. You're feeling really confident right now. Like we said, you use those cross balls, you get that in front of the cage, you've got a teammate waiting on that post just to finish it and send it home. Fantastic finish, great corner play. I love how Kutztown stayed, true to themselves with a great insert and really making sure they just put something on goal.
It was Greenlee McGeehee, the junior, with her 3rd of the year on the tip-in. And how about Kutztown, down 1-0. Just 2:17 into this national final. They take advantage of a shorthanded situation for ESU, tie the game late in the 3rd, and now score a crucial corner when they had been silenced on corners all day. And it's McGeehee getting the job done to put the Golden Bears in front. And all the momentum right now on Kutztown's side. Bennett. Stripped away. It's Van Gils. She can change momentum in a hurry. Trying to battle through the knock.
Yeah, she's looking for players to get above the ball for her, looking for that pass. Didn't really have anyone.
Eager tripped up there by Crozier. And now it's about Kutztown and how did they manage the next 7:30.
Right, and I think, you can see right now they're still trying to go forward. They know that a 1-goal lead isn't enough against East Stroudsburg, one of the best teams in the country, if not the best coming into this. So for sure, Kutztown is still going to look. They've got 7 minutes left. They want to put another one in, and they'll go into that lockdown defense mentality, though, if the ball does get turned over.
Donato setting up the restart here. Meanwhile, the Warriors have been feels like in a defensive mindset for a good chunk, especially since that early goal. How do they shift that mentality back to being aggressive offensively?
Yeah, I think they have to go back to their roots, that pass and play mentality, letting the ball loose, getting it to their teammate, and really making, the ball do the work rather than the player.
Well, it's Madison Klein doing a boatload of work here, carrying it 50 yards into the circle. Klein is in. Klein looking to force the issue as it stripped away by Gatehouse. And again, more cries for a whistle from the ESU bench. Not getting the benefit. Klein thought her space was impeded there. But a strong defensive play by Gatehouse, the Defensive Player of the Year in the PSAC this season. Bouncing ball controlled. McGeehee, the goal scorer, is the outlet here. Had it knocked away by Lewis, but a foul called. One back quickly by the Warriors. Lewis again lays it off into space. Here comes Klein. Klein at the edge of the circle. Sweeps it in on the backhand. And will draw a corner.
Yeah, you see Madison Klein taking matters into her own hands, Ben. She is not going down without a fight. Give her the ball. She is going to make something happen, and just fantastic leadership on that side. And to earn a corner with 5:56 left, this is super important for East Stroudsburg to make something happen. As we know, the clock then becomes your enemy.
We said, how quickly does the mentality change for ESU? We saw it shift in a matter of just 90 seconds there. A couple of good possessions from Klein. Lesh with the insert to the top. Parker has options. Parker takes her own number. It's deflected just high and wide. Crozier on the doorstep, exactly what she wanted, but the deflection would not sit under the crossbar. I'm going to get a stoppage here. They might take a couple extra seconds off the clock. It was 5:56 when the corner began. But then on the restart, it was only at 5:53, so certainly more than 3 seconds would have elapsed throughout that corner play.
Yeah, that's, clock management's newer this year and last year when we've gone to the quarter system and stopping time on corners and restarting it on the whistle. Definitely some, if you don't know how to run the clock for field hockey, it certainly is a complicated issue.
I think it was just a matter of the clock maybe started a little bit late after the whistle. So this is sort of officials' discretion now in terms of how much time they're going to take off. And you can see the sideline official there huddled up with the scorer's table, and they'll relay the instructions upstairs to the clock.
Yeah, the official time is kept on the field, so confident that our officials have exactly what needs to be on the clock. Now we're just probably getting technology to catch up.
So they're looking to reset it here. I believe, if I can read lips correctly, it looked like they wanted 5:50. So they may be putting 3 seconds back on here. It's just a matter of trying to get that to get up on the clock, and now we have 5:50, and we should be ready to play. Officials getting everybody in place, and now we're good to restart. But an opportunity there for ESU to kind of set up their defense, and right away they get a takeaway. It's Lesh laying it off for Van Gils. Hammers it forward, knocked down. Quickly one back. Again, Van Gils on the ball, but interference on East Stroudsburg.
Right, you want to see East Stroudsburg stay composed right now. You don't want to go into that panic mindset where you're just hitting and hoping. Their strong suit is team play, is passing and playing with one another, and realistically they have plenty of time to put themselves in a position to score a goal. But once you go to that panic mindset, everything changes. So you'd like to see this leadership of this group really make sure that they stay within themselves and really possess the ball.
And we know Kutztown, not an easy team to score against, has only allowed 11 goals all season, including the one today. Takeaway by Gonzalez. Gonzalez hammers it toward the front. Soupy kicks it away, knocked down by Kyle. Hit a foot inside the circle before it got to the face of goal. So again, just that sort of seemingly innocent hit by Gonzalez, just putting it into the circle, and it just catches a foot wrong, and Kutztown all of a sudden's got another scoring chance here.
Yeah, Kutztown is just not going away. They are going to make sure that they win this game. They have great energy and great momentum right now, and they know if they put something into the circle, something positive can happen, whether it's a corner or a goal. Fantastic job by Aaron Gonzalez.
They've kept it simple the last few corners as well. Gonzalez again plays it in to the top. Donato steps inside, hands it off. Shot by Kyle, looking for a tip in front, but it was stopped by a foot. That was Trainer trying to get into a similar spot where she scored from Friday. Bookman just tries to get out of the way of that one, but causes enough interference to be able to slow the progress forward from the Warriors. Here's Simon dangling along the line.
Yeah, Kutztown's done a great job of pressing the ball and pressing these East Stroudsburg, the backfield, really creating a lot of transitional opportunities.
Van Gils off the quick restart, trying to push it forward. Only 3 defenders back right now for Kutztown. Van Gils trickles it forward in the circle. Turnaround shot, Lewis, kick save made by Kepler. Still loose, top of the circle. Controlled by Panatti. And she'll take it out to safety and win a whistle.
Great save there. Point blank shot. You as a goalkeeper, you have to be ready for everything. And certainly Mia Kepler was ready for that.
4th save of the day for the senior. She had 7 in the semifinal. This one nearly deflected by Van Gils. She had the stick low and ready for that hard hit.
Yeah, East Stroudsburg knows that once they get into that 25-meter area, they have to start putting the ball into play, into the circle. They've got to get a corner. They've got to get some touches on goal, get some, pounce on some rebounds. They've got 3 minutes to make that happen.
Trying to amp up the pressure here. A little poke. Opportunity toward the front. Played across. Klein trying to dig away at it. Kepler's down. Ball still loose. Fought for inside. And the whistle will go against ESU. Defense collapsing successfully again there for Kutztown. Donato gives it away. Klein working around the boundary. Klein tries to muscle it in. Slowed by 2. Now a 3rd defender there as well. Klein trying to force it off a foot and wins the corner.
Again, Madison Klein showing her experience. Give me the ball. I will make something positive happen. That is what you want in these waning moments, is to get your strongest players the ball. She's got a great sense of the goal. She's really crafty on the ball and caused that corner.
Another opportunity for the Warriors to tie. This is their 6th corner. Lesh again. Gives the ball an extra squirt of water. Played short. It's Klein. Steps in. Fires wide. Wanted a redirect and didn't get it. Did take a deflection off a defender. So it'll stay with ESU. Van Gils tried to wind up a hard hit. And a whistle goes against the Warriors first. Came from the trail official there.
Yeah, they were saying J.D. Van Gils wasn't 5 meters. All players on a free hit need to be 5 meters away from the ball, even your teammate. I think she just probably snuck in that extra meter, and Shannon Taylor had that call.
Getting close to crunch time here for East Stroudsburg as they try to defend their national championship. Kutztown has scored twice in the second half to lead it 2-1. Lesh working this way and that. Winds it up. Bouncing ball. Knocked down. Played up ahead for Gonzalez. Just trying to protect at this stage. Clock starting to become a factor. No wave in the direction of Soupy in goal yet, but she is well off her line just in case.
Yeah, these moments are really, really important. You're going to have heavy pressing by East Stroudsburg to really try to trap you and win that ball, which is exactly what they've just done right now. They know they have to get numbers around the ball in order to win, to make that, get that circle entry.
Lesh tries to throw it inside. There was an East Stroudsburg player who tripped up inside the circle. Cleared away, though, by Kutztown. Gonzalez lost it, interfered. Under a minute to go for the national championship. Kutztown fans getting to their feet. Lifted high. Not all that deep, though. Corralled by Barbush. Tried to whip it back forward. Barbush slowed up on the big hit. It's Klein there to get it. He's been instrumental in trying to get the Warriors back into it. Goes for a tumble over the top of a Kutztown player. Klein on the restart. Coming up on 30 seconds to go. Klein tries to force her way in. Klein's shot blocked. Out to the end line. Trainer will watch it go out. It'll stay with ESU.
Again, Madison Klein just coming up big, making sure she gets that call, takes that quick restart, gets a shot off. It just really, really shows her experience.
Kyle blocked the entry from Van Gils. Now it's clock killing time for Kutztown. To the corner it goes. Near the end line. Final seconds ticking down. Does ESU have an opportunity to get it into the circle? It's stripped away by Trainer, and Kutztown will celebrate for the first time in school history. The Golden Bears are national champions.
Wow, Ben, what a game. Resilience shown by Kutztown, never taking a moment off and making sure they took care of this game and really owning that fourth quarter. All the makings of what a national championship game should be.
There is a new team from Pennsylvania at the top of the mountaintop, and it is the Kutztown Golden Bears. National runner-up in '97. Made the national semis in 2019. They were more than happy to be there this time around.
Yeah, exactly. Coach Schuing said they were happy, but this year they had new intentions, and that was to hoist a trophy at the end of this weekend, and that they are going to do. So amazing to watch, so happy for Kutztown. They really, really made sure they took care of all their opportunities and played some awesome hockey all weekend long. And nothing to take away from East Stroudsburg. Wow, what a team. Really skilled, really had some great leadership, but always hard to come in and playing under that pressure.
After missing out on the national tournament a year ago, despite finishing first in the PSAC in the regular season, Coach Schuing told us that their mantra this year was leave no doubt. In the end, they leave no doubt. They are the national champions, best in Division II in field hockey this season.
Well, she said all things happen for a reason, and she's had some perspective over the last year to say why didn't they make it. Well, I think the answer is today, Ben. They didn't make it. They needed that motivation. They used that motivation, which put them in this situation here today to win their first ever national championship, which is unbelievable. To be left out of the tournament last year and to win it this year, wow, what a story.
And for East Stroudsburg, a little bit of heartbreak for the Warriors. Obviously wanted that back-to-back national titles, continue what has been such a tremendously successful run, making the NCAA tournament, which is a tough enough task in itself for the 8th straight season. But in the end, their run comes to an end in the national title game as Kutztown raises the trophy for the first time. They are national champions.
Coach Miller has everything to be proud of. What a team, a group of strong leaders, strong players. Like I said, really hard to play under that pressure. They played right into the last second. It's just a true testament to the type of program they are and the culture that she has built there.
And we talked about how resilient this Kutztown team has been all year in both of these national championship games. Friday, they trailed 1-0 early. Today, they trailed 1-0 early. Both times they were able to find an equalizer. Both times they were able to find a way to get that crucial winning goal.
Yeah, they had that never lay down attitude. They said, once they got here, they were here to win it. So they didn't. It was irregardless of what was going on the field, whether they were up 2 or down 1, they were still going to play to win this, and that they did today. And just super impressive effort from both teams. But I loved that resilience from Kutztown with still playing a long game after going down 1-0 early on.
Well, there you see the national title being held aloft by the Kutztown Golden Bears. A terrific year for Marcy Schuing's team, and they will bring that trophy back and celebrate the first national title in program history. And in just a few moments, we'll have the official presentation of the championship trophies as well as the all-tournament team coach. It has been an unbelievable weekend getting to call these games with you. We know, fond memories for you and your coaching days, a couple of national titles with UMass Lowell before embarking onto Division I, and we're thrilled to have you back with the tournament back in New England for the first time this weekend.
Yeah, there is something special about Division II and the coaching and the student athletes, the energy that they've brought all weekend long, the gratitude for being here, the competitive nature. It's just been really, really fun, Ben, to call these games, to see these women out there really pouring their hearts, and it's always so hard for me to be here because I miss being in this venue, but when I watch, I see dreams being made, hearts being broken, and I've been on both sides, and really, really, really just impressed overall with the play this weekend. Just really grateful to be a part of it on the other side. Don't miss those nerves maybe and that pressure all the time. Division I certainly brings out a different side, but what a weekend, and some great hockey being played. Just thankful to be a part of it, so thanks for having me here.
Well, thank you very much. A couple of other thank yous pass along before we send it down to the field. Our athletic director at St. Anselm College, Darren Montgomery, other administrative staff here at St. Anselm, Neil Duval, Mitch Capel, Emma Claire, everyone at St. Anselm College for putting on such a terrific weekend for this field hockey tournament. Our director all weekend, Haley Zedek, Nick Young, and our entire Tupelo Honey production team for doing a great job getting these games covered on NCAA.com. And, of course, for you, Coach, for joining me this weekend. And you see Kutztown taking a championship photo. And in a moment, we will head down to the field for the announcement of the all-tournament team as well as the official national championship presentation. We'll keep it here on NCAA.com. Once again, my name is Ben Alcher. We thank you for tuning in all weekend long. Congratulations to the Kutztown Golden Bears, national champions in Division II field hockey for the first time in program history.
Fans, your attention, please. It is our pleasure to begin the awards ceremony for the 2023 NCAA Division II Women's Field Hockey Championship. First, let's congratulate both teams on their outstanding achievements and thank our hosts, St. Anselm College, for their partnership, commitment, and success in hosting this national championship. Presenting the awards is Julie Munson, Chair of Division II Women's Field Hockey Committee. First, the runner-up team in this year's NCAA Division II Women's Field Hockey Championship, finishing with a record of 18-3, the East Stroudsburg University Warriors. Will the following individuals please come forward to receive your award? Number 26, Maddie Barbush. Number 15, Grace Holbinger. Number 16, Carrie Kaufman. Number 13, Madison Klein. Number 5, Nicole Crozier. Number 18, Jessica Seidel. Number 28, Grace Lesh. Number 14, Hannah Lewis. Number 10, Leah Parker. Number 24, Romy Peters. Number 7, Charlotte Simon. Number 12, Caroline Stelma. Number 00, Amy Soupy. Number 23, J.D. Van Gill. Number 96, Jet Vermeulen. Number 3, Bella Perut. Number 20, Julia Cooper. Number 8, Allison Foreman. Number 17, Minky Klein. Number 6, Elena Rivera Lagala. Number 9, Emma Friend. Number 1, Kendall Eggleston. Number 25, Patty Hartzler. Number 2, Kayla Minkin. Will the head coach, Sandy Miller, and the team's captains please come forward to accept their trophy. Also on the staff, the assistant coach, Katie Ord, Elena Andreev, Sarah Ross, Dion Thorpe, and Tyler Christian. Congratulations to East Stroudsburg University on a fantastic season. Let's give all these outstanding student athletes, coaches, and staff a round of applause again, East Stroudsburg University. And now, the 2023 NCAA Division II Women's Field Hockey National Champions, finishing with a record of 14-3, the Kutztown Golden Bears. Presenting the awards is the chair of the D2 Field Hockey Committee, Julie Munson. Will the following individuals please come forward to receive your awards? Number 22, Brindley Rex. Number 1, Jillian Bookman. Number 2, Sierra Chester. Number 3, Shay Bennett. Number 4, Lulu O'Neill. Number 5, Aaron Gonzalez. Number 6, Jordan Strout. Number 7, Brianna Donato. Number 8, Olivia Osborne. Number 10, Mackenzie Kyle. Number 11, Julia Schools. Number 12, Alyssa Eager. Number 13, Renee McGee. Number 17, Sydney Stopka. Number 18, Grace Harold. Number 20, Andy Sear. Number 21, Sarah Gatehouse. Number 23, Maura Palin. Number 26, Danielle Panotti. Number 31, Jessica Trainer. Number 32, Megan Doyle. Number 33, Rachel Colasso. Number 53, Ella Weidenhammer. Number 92, Mia Kepler. Will head coach Marcy Schuing and team captains please come forward to accept the trophy? Also on staff, assistant coach Amber Ockenbach, Ariana Grays, Erica Barbara, and Shelby Hoppus. Congratulations to the Kutztown Golden Bears on your 2023 NCAA Division II Women's Field Hockey National Championship. On behalf of the NCAA and our host institution, St. Anselm College, we thank you for attending the 2023 NCAA Division II Field Hockey Championship. Please remember that Limestone University and the Spartanburg Convention and Visitors Bureau will host next year's NCAA Division II Field Hockey Championship November 22nd and the 24th of 2024 at Saints Field in Limestone, South Carolina. Once again, congratulations to our champions, the Kutztown Golden Bears. Fans, thank Thank you for attending. Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you next year.